we have some rumors spiraling out there on the internet. A lot of reputable media outlets are addressing this, but have also confirmed that there is no solid plan in place. There are no contracts necessarily signed, but our favorite friend of the YouTube channel, Jake Paul, is not fighting Gervonta Davis. As many of you already know, that fight is scrapped due to legal issues and whatever is going on in Gervonta Davis's life. We know that Jake Paul was actively seeking out different people to replace him. One of which was Francis Ngannou, which I thought was a bold move. And for somebody that's been very critical of this man and who he's been fighting, that is a fight that would have intrigued me, to fight somebody like Francis, who, yes, not necessarily a boxer first. He's a mixed martial artist primarily at heart, but he has big-time boxing experience, obviously, against Tyson Fury, against Joshua. And that's the other man that is now in the works to be taking this fight. Anthony Joshua is rumored to be interested in taking on Jake Paul. Date to be determined. If it's actually going to happen, to be determined. But listen, I'm a guy who's not afraid to tell you when I think something is ridiculous, like that last fight with Gervonta Davis. I will admit that Jake Paul kind of gets on my nerves because of just the spectacle of all of these events. As a martial artist, as a former fighter myself, somebody that loves combat sports and loves it to have the integrity, sometimes he waters that down. Sometimes he's taking on people and making it seem like he's a world beater when really he's beating a lot of guys that were former mixed martial artists, a lot of guys who are undersized to be in there with him. But this, if this happens, this is legit. This is a legit former heavyweight champion. This is somebody that has legit boxing skills, who has knockout power, who is bigger than Jake himself. Now, I don't know if it's all going to come to fruition, if it's all going to get sealed. Who knows what both these guys are asking for. I'm sure Joshua is asking for a butt ton of money to be stepping in there against somebody that has nowhere near the experience of a lot of the other athletes that he's faced in the past. But this is maybe the moment that I'm going to give a little bit of flowers to Jake Paul and give some respect. If you actually step into that ring under the unified rules of boxing and it's fair and square and there's no side hustle or anything going on in those contracts, then that's legit. And I think I give you credit for stepping in there with that man, because he is absolutely dangerous. He's powerful. He's fought the best guys in the world. And if you go in there and you even look half decent, now I don't expect him to win that fight if it's a legit fight. Also, if Francis Ngannou had accepted that fight, I got to say, you got balls for stepping in there and facing those guys. Those are big, powerful punchers that you have to respect. There's no bullshit. You need fighting skills to be able to take on these types of guys. You can't go in there and you can't fake it. I love Tyron Woodley. I love Ben Askren. I love Nate Diaz. These are guys I respect, especially as mixed martial artists. But where they lack, it's in the boxing department. These guys aren't necessarily known for being phenomenal, classy, slick strikers. They were really, really, really good mixed martial artists when they can mix in all the weapons involved in those sports. That is not Joshua. This guy is a boxer. He is a puncher. He has been in there in the squared circle and fought the best guys in the world and beaten a ton of those guys. Now, the rumors are out there. There's nothing signed or sealed. We could be getting really excited for absolutely nothing. But hey, that's why we're here. This is what we do. We take these rumors, we take these headlines on social media, on the interwebs, and we talk about them and how it might shake down and what would happen. And I think if this fight does happen, if Joshua takes it seriously and goes in there and is actually prepared, goes through a full training camp, I sit here today and I say that I think he knocks him out, that he's got the skills to put him away. But it doesn't take away from the fact that I will watch it. I know I said if the Gervonta Davis fight was going to happen that I was not going to tune in. I had no interest. I might have been lying just a little bit. I probably would have maybe watched it after the fact and found some clips or illegally streamed it. Don't tell anybody. But I definitely was not going to go out of my way to pay money for that fight. It's ridiculous. It's a circus show. This is not a circus show. This is somebody trying to take on and use his status, use his power to actually test himself against somebody that is the best in the world or formerly best in the world. That I can accept. That I can get behind. And that I will get excited about going and watching. And if he continues to do more of these types of fights, Anthony Joshua, big heavyweights, big middleweights, guys that are even or remotely around his size, even if they're not world famous, if they're somebody with a solid boxing background and record in the sport of boxing, not in some other sport. I know Nate Diaz was potentially thrown back on the table, and I have such admiration and respect for what Nate Diaz has done in his sports background, in his MMA and combat sports fighting career, but he's undersized, he's getting older, and he's not a boxer. Jake Paul is still young, he's fresh in this game, and he's got the money and the resources to go out and really train in this particular sport. There's no takedowns, there's no jiu-jitsu, there's no kicks, there's none of that. And that's where somebody like Nate is just going to be a bit behind. He's not going to have the ability to just go in there and box somebody like that. He's a volume puncher, sure. And did he use boxing to great effect when he was a fighter? 100%. But there's a difference between somebody that used boxing incredibly well in the sport of mixed martial arts and in the UFC particular versus somebody that is a straight up boxing savage like Joshua. That man knows how to box. He's fit for the size that he is. He's in phenomenal shape and he knows goddamn how to box. So again, respect to Jake if this goes down. I'm curious where it's going to go down, but I guarantee that this is going to get a bajillion more eyeballs on it than that Gervonta Davis fight. I think we were all kind of in agreement that we're like, what? This is not what we want to see from you. I think there's a lot of people that are massive fans of Jake Paul, especially the younger generation who grew up watching a lot of YouTube videos, who grew up in this streaming service, who grew up just in the constant internet relationship that the younger generations have. I don't mind that, okay? I can get you getting behind your man, but this is a dangerous fight, and that appeals to me. That makes me curious to go and watch him fight. Now, am I watching it partially because I kind of want to see him get humbled a bit? Yeah, I do. But that's good. Whether somebody like me, who's been a bit of a critic, wants to go and see him get humbled or show that he's got to dig in deep and prove himself, that's fine. It's still me viewing it. It's me watching it. And I think there's going to be pretty split 50-50 when it comes to that kind of fight on people watching it because they want to see Jake Paul win and continue his success. And then the other half who want to see him get beat up. Conor McGregor had a very similar impact on people. People loved him or they freaking hated him. And guess what? That's what makes him a genius. And that, I will admit, is why I do think Jake Paul, in a lot of ways, is a genius when it comes to this stuff. Was the Gervonta Davis fight all bullshit from the beginning? Was he trolling us? This is a guy, don't forget, that knows how to do that type of stuff and get under your skin and make you annoyed by him. But it ultimately just leads to you wanting to see him either get knocked out or, if you're a fan of that style of entertainment, makes you want to tune in and see him fight. So regardless of whether you're on the side of I want to see him flat out on the canvas or you love him, it's a brilliant way to get people to want to watch you fight. And I think that's where you're seeing a lot of young fighters are capable of doing that, whether they're still on the come up. They just know how to talk shit because the role models that they've looked up to, the McGregors, the Diaz brothers, all of these people that are brash and outspoken and very upfront with their feelings on their opponent and not afraid to really dig in and kind of go for the jugular when they're talking trash. That's exactly what he brings to the table, and it's bringing viewership. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that this fight actually happens because I'll be honest, I'm intrigued to see that fight. I like Anthony Joshua. I think he's a phenomenal athlete and a fantastic boxer. And if Jake Paul is willing to step in there and face that kind of competition, sign me up all day. Your boy here will watch, and then we'll talk about it after the fact if it happens. And hopefully we get some behind the scenes footage too that we can actually go through and maybe break down some of the sparring or training of Jake Paul. And let us know in the comments too. Do you think this fight's going to happen? That, of course, if it hasn't been announced by the time this video drops. But if it hasn't, let us know. Does it happen? Where does it happen? And who do you think is going to win? And who else would you like to see Jake Paul step in there? If we're talking about legit competition, boxers, or even MMA fighters who are much more dangerous strikers who have transitioned over to the sport of boxing, who do you want to see him fight? Are you a fan of Jake Paul? Or are you like me where he kind of gets on your damn nerves and you want to see him get humbled? Regardless, I got to admit, I'll be tuning in for that one.